Hello Internet and welcome to the SwirlyCast, the only audio show that can be enjoyed by humans and yokai alike, and is the subject of being trapped in an arcade cabinet for over 2 decades. Yeah, somebody should probably get that out of there. I am your host, Koma. Happy decided to spend a few minutes out of your day to coming out, and with formalities out of the way, what is on the mind today? We are talking about an arcade game. I know, the show keeps getting weirder and weirder, but we are talking about a Sonic game that has never left the arcades. Not once. And that game is Sega Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, a lot of you will probably be wondering, like, Coma, what the crud is that game? I never heard of that one before, and for good reason. You see, Sega Sonic the Hedgehog only released in Japan and in Japanese arcades, so unless you were living in Japan in 1992, chances are you never played this game. It's really, really sad that this game, which has a lot of charm and has a lot of good things about it, just never left the arcades. But I'll have to explain why and the ugly truth about it a little later on. So, first, let's talk about the game itself. Essentially, it's an arcade game, it eats up your quarters, so it's going to be hard. It's essentially a Sonic game where you have to run away from things trying to kill you. I mean, it's not the weirdest thing the series has done yet, but for classic Sonic, it certainly is. But let's go ahead and get into this little quick story first before I explain really anything else. After getting captured by Eggman, Sonic, Mighty, and Ray, this was Mighty and Ray's debut games. They did not come out in Knuckles Chaotix or in Sonic Mania Plus. This was their first game. After landing in this volcanic area and after avoiding getting chomped by like a giant metal machine, Eggman spawns a geyser out of the ground and launches all three of the heroes onto Eggman Island. And it's up to them to find Eggman and escape the island before everything blows up. There you go. That's the story. Again, it's not going to be a paramount of story. Like, again, it is an arcade game after all, and I'm totally fine with that. It helps to relay the gameplay and help, give the place a nice setting, because we haven't seen Eggman Island since this game, so there you go. Mostly because it blew up. But, the game itself is a top-down game, sort of like Sonic 3D Blast would do on the Genesis and Saturn in 1995. But this is 1992, where, it wasn't a game by Traveler's Tales. So, there you go. Essentially, you gotta avoid everything trying to kill you, and you gotta make it to the end of the level. Simple stuff. The main thing about this game is that aside from Sonic 2, this is the first game in the Sonic series that is fully co-op. So, if you have another buddy playing alongside you, you can play as Mighty and you can play as Ray. Also, you can play as them in the single player as well if you are so inclined. Now, we get into the unfortunate truth about this game. To be frank, it is very difficult to emulate, because the game uses a trackball, which I am very mixed on. On the one hand, it makes for smooth as butter movement in the game itself, but when it comes to playing the game through other means, not great. Granted, there are different ways to play it if you're playing on MAME, which is my emulator of choice, but it's not exactly perfect. You can play with the mouse, you can play with keyboard, and you can play with a controller, but honestly, I just find using the keyboard works. Granted, you are locked into 8 directions, which is not ideal in the slightest, but hey, it's better than having to constantly scroll your mouse. That does not sound fun. So that's not fun? It doesn't. So, and yeah, this is kind of why this game has not really been re-released as often as I would like. Because as much as I would like other people to play this game, the only way that you can play it is if you have the arcade ROM and MAME. So, it's not exactly great. And plus, there are some bugs with the current version of Sega Sonic and MAME in of itself. There are some graphical oddities, and it might actually make your head hurt a little bit. Honestly, it kind of is a little eye straining at times when going from level to level. I wouldn't recommend playing the arcade version right now if you have photosensitive epilepsy, but if you're just looking up a video on YouTube, then yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. It's just, it's something I wish would have been fixed. But that isn't here nor there. I was just talking about my personal experiences, and my personal experiences with the game, aside from that little hiccup in the graphical quality, it's still a really solid game, all things considered. And if you can't get some buddies alongside you, it isn't ideal, because my aim has some problems with Parsec. I know. I tried. We really tried getting it working, but it unfortunately just didn't come to be. But if you can make it work, it looks to be absolute chaos, and I'd be all for something like that. It looks insanely fun, and that's what Sega Sonic is. It's just fun. If you have some time on your hands and you could find the ROM and find a good version of MAME, then yeah, I'd say go for it. Like, you're not going to be wasting too much of your time. There are some moments that are a bit iffy. The entirety of Wild Waterway is not a good level in the slightest, but everything else is great. The animations are incredibly smooth. Like, I think this might be my favorite looking classic Sonic game aside from games like Sonic 3 and Knuckles and Mania. So, there's that. Like, the animations have so much charm, and technically speaking, this is the first time Sonic has had a speaking role in a game. No, it wasn't CD. It wasn't games like Sonic Adventure. It was Sega Sonic. This game came out in 1992. Sonic CD came out in 1993. There you go. It's super cool, like, learning all this information about the game, because it's something that you wouldn't find out otherwise if you're not really that big into Sonic like I am. So I'm relaying this knowledge onto you now in case you're very much curious. And I'm guessing if you clicked on this audio episode, then yeah, you probably are. So there you go. I should also be mentioned that this game's soundtrack, mwah, chef kiss. So many awesome bangers in this track. Volcanic Vault, Icy Isle, Trap Tower, Eggman's Tower. Oh, such good tracks. Such good tracks. And the overall presentation of the game is pretty solid as well. The world map is Eggman looking at his computer monitor, and it's pretty fun, like, hearing him get more and more frustrated as the game goes on. It's super cool. And it should also be mentioned that the Eggman sprites in that game actually would have had an American version matching the Sat AM Robotnik that we know today. But that's also, like, what really disappoints me is that I don't think this game really did well in Japan, and unless you get an import or play the game through main, there is no way that you can play this game, like, at all. So yeah, there was an English version planned though, as I just mentioned with the Satiam Robotnik, but like, it never came to be, unfortunately, and it would have actually been a cool piece of Sonic history that we would have been able to experience, but meh. Hopefully one of these days an actual English version of Sega Sonic gets made, or a fan translated patch comes out, because it'd be something really awesome to see. But as it stands right now, yeah, if you can, it doesn't really matter if you can't understand Japanese. It's like, it just be going through the motions anyway. You use a trackball and you move, and you press one button to jump. It really isn't that much more complicated than that. So I'm probably stressing this out, but like, even still, like, Sega Sonic the Hedgehog, like, it's a cool piece of Sonic history that not many get to experience. And believe me, this won't be the first time we talk about an obscure Sonic game on the show, so get ready for that. But yeah, I had a great time with this one playing it through MAME, and I think if you can find it, I'd say give it a shot. Especially with MAME, because you can have unlimited coins. You don't have to worry about wasting all your yen playing this game, so there you go. But yeah, I believe that's all the time we have for now. So with that, this has been Koma, and my friends, fellow viewers, and camaraderies alike. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the SwirlyCast. Until next time, bye bye! Please don't tell me I was the only one who failed Eggman's thing the first time and got a game over. Ah!